Hey guys, my name is Gabe and this is episode 15 to Let's Make Rust. So in this episode we're going to be working on a few cool things. We're going to be making a weapon pickup so that we could pick up weapons. And I also imported some food models, so instead of it being giant cubes, which was kind of stupid, so now you could take the apples, eat the apples, and drink the drink. So yeah, we're going to get into that. Stay tuned and enjoy. Alright, so to get started, I actually want to import some 3D models. So we're going to go to models here, and I'm going to drag in this apple model, and I'm also going to import this Mountain Dew drink. I'll just call this Mountain Dew, an apple. Okay, so we're going to go to the import settings of these. We're going to be using the .objs. I'll also be including the model in the description for both the Mountain Dew and the apple. One of these. Okay, so we're going to delete the 3ds because we're going to be just using the OBJ. You don't need the MTL. Okay, and I like to kind of drag the materials out of here instead of it being in a materials folder. And maps, just take that out as well. Okay. So I'm sharing the apple. Okay, and I'm actually going to drag this apple out. As you can see, it's very, very big, and yeah, we'll change that. So we're going to have to go here and import animations. There's no animations, obviously. And we're going to scale this to, like, what's 0.1 going to look like? Okay, that's still too big, so we're going to have to do, like, maybe that'll be good. That's still way too big. It's obviously bigger than a regular apple, but yeah, might have to go even smaller. So maybe half of that, and I think that'll be okay. Not a big deal. It's a big apple, but still. Okay, so make this kind of white. So it takes just from the albedo. I'm gonna drag this here, and same thing with the stem. So like that, and I'm gonna drag it onto the stem. Okay, and there we have our apple model. So in here, let's see if I could. Yeah, I'll just make it the center because it's easier to move it. I guess we could start replacing the food, which is the yellow cube. So, or maybe, yeah, hold on. I'll just drag this apple onto the food, and reset its position. So, reset position, and we don't need the actual cube. So I'm gonna remove the mesh render and stuff like that. And we also don't need this box collider because I'll just put one on the. No, actually, we might need the box collider. Just make it smaller. So move that. Okay. And I'm just going to make it a little bit bigger, so 0.2 maybe. Okay, that's fine. So we'll leave it at that for now. What axis is that? Z. Okay. So we'll leave that at 0. Doesn't really matter too much. Just want to kind of surround the apple. And it does have a rigid body. Let's see if this works. So we go over to the apple model in the game. And where is it? It should be over here somewhere. Yeah, there it is. Kick it around. And I did eat it. Okay, it did work. Okay, I was thinking that we could add some sort of interact script that says we're actually interacting with something rather than just hitting E because we don't really know what's happening. I'm gonna kind of make this little platformish kind of thing for the apple and the drink, so like that. And the drink, I'll move over like that, and we'll remove the mesh filter and the mesh renderer. Okay, and now we're gonna work on the drink model. So I'm gonna remove this MTL Alright, so I'm going to drag in the Mountain Dew model here, and I'm going to put it over the thirst, so make it the child, and reset its position. And I'm just going to rename this to Mountain Dew model. Okay, and we're also going to have to scale this down, so I'd say 0.05. That's way too small. That might be too... we'll leave it. It doesn't really matter. Okay, so now we'll scale down this box collider. So, say 0.3. That might be fine. Maybe a little smaller. 0.2. And I'll bring it up on the y-axis. 0.3. And, okay, I think that's fine. For now, we could just leave that. And I'll apply the thirst, and same thing with the food. I don't remember if I applied it, so we will now apply it. I'll rename this to Apple model. Okay. Also, we didn't texture this, so I'm gonna take out this this material, and I'll just call this Mountain Dew material, and drag it. Well, it's already applied. No point in doing that. And I'm gonna take. Why is there? That's strange. I don't think we would do that. But yeah, we do. Okay. Take out the Mountain Dew textures. And look at the model. And we're going to start to apply the albedo here. Okay. I'm also going to make another material for the metal part. Okay, I guess the model, whoever made the model, didn't exactly make the metal part separate, so I guess we can't do that. That's fine though. Make it like 0.5 because it's a bottle, or sorry, it's a can. And I'll set this down. Okay, so we go in the game and go over to here. Oh, that's too high. Okay, let me take these and kind of bring it down. Okay. We could hit E on the drink and hit E on the apple. These might still be too high, so I'm going to bring it down a little bit more. And the bottle, or the can, I'm going to change the Y center, so like the bottom is like what the actual bottom is. Like that. Okay, and same thing with the apple. Apple's fine. Maybe we could do that. Okay, so that'll work. I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect. Right now we're probably going to be replacing these models anyways. Alright, so I think the models are fine. It doesn't really matter right now. So yeah, you could eat the apple and you could drink the drink. We'll add sounds sometime. So right now I wanted to work on a weapon pickup system. So we're going to do that. I'm going to go into the scripts folder here, and I'm going to go to weapons. And I'm going to create a C# script, weapon pickup. So we're going to do that. Load. Okay. Back into Unity, by the way, really quick. This tree health script, this should probably go into like miscellaneous. I don't know why it's in the weapons folder. Okay. So we're going to need to open up the new script, weapon pickup. Okay, so how this script is going to work basically is when we look at a weapon, so for instance the Glock, when we hit E on it, it's going to go to our player right here. I actually want to bring the player to the top. Okay, so it's going to go to our player here into our main camera, and it's going to find this weapons game object, and in here it's going to find a list of weapons. So right now we only have the Glock, but it's going to go inside this weapons game object, and it's going to find all the game objects inside of the weapons, and whichever one is the name of the weapon pickup, it's going to enable that one. So this will be disabled for now, so as if we don't have the Glock, and when we go up to a Glock and hit E, it should enable this and give the effect as if we were actually picking up the Glock. So we're gonna work on making the actual pickup. So I'm gonna bring Glock out here and make a empty game object, and I'm gonna bring this Glock onto the empty game object and reset its position. Okay, and go to this game object, and I'm just gonna call this block pickup. Okay, and in our prefabs, I'm gonna drag that in here. Okay, so now we have our, it should just show the model of the Glock here. And on here I'm gonna add a box collider. Doesn't have to be perfect, doesn't really matter too much, just as long as it's big enough. So like that, and then I'll move it like that, doesn't matter. Scale. Okay, that'll have to do for now. It's not a big deal. You could always change that, make it however you want, as big as you want, as thin as you want, whatever. It's really up to you, it's your game. I do want to kind of scale this in a little bit, that's way too thick. Okay, that's fine for now. You can also do multiple box colliders, so you can really make it perfect if you'd want to, but in this case it doesn't matter too much. So I'm going to add that script here onto this game object, so we're going to go to weapons, go to this Glock pickup and weapon pickup. Okay, and in here I'm just going to remove all this stuff, you know, like I usually do, and I'm going to add a public string here, and it's going to be called weapon name. So by default, I guess we can make it block, and I'm also going to include a string called pickup name, which is going to be as well, which is by default going to be block. And I think honestly that actually might be all that we need in this, because all that we're doing is going into this and finding some values. So now we're going to go into our interact script. So we go to the, was it in the player or the main camera? Okay, so over here. Now we could do over here else if hitinfo.collider.tag, oops, tag is equal to weapon pickup. So if weapon pickup is detected, then we're gonna have to find this script on it. So we're gonna find a weapon pickup. Weapon pickup is equal to hitinfo.collider.tag, get component weapon pickup. Okay, and from here we're actually going to find the weapon manager. So I'm going to make here a private game object called the weapon manager, and in start I'm going to go to weapon manager is equal to game object, defined game object with tag weapon manager. Okay, and we might actually have to make a tag for that. I don't remember if we did. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to rename this to weapon manager. That doesn't matter what you name it to. It matters what the tag is. So I want to give it the tag weapon manager. And I'm also going to add another tag to this called the weapon pickup. Okay. So weapon manager right here. And now we're going to have to find all the game objects inside of the weapon manager. Okay, so I'm actually thinking instead of doing that, we could do weapon pickup dot interact. Okay, so now inside of weapon pickup, we're going to add a public void interact. Okay, so inside of here, we're going to get a game object called weapon found, and this weapon found is going to be weapon manager. Weapon manager dot, actually wait, we have to find a weapon manager on this. So up here in the weapon manager, we could take that out here and put it here. That was retarded. Okay. And we now have to make the private game object weapon manager. And we could take it out of interact because we don't need it there anymore, because this is probably going to be a little bit more efficient to keep all the weapon manager stuff inside the weapon pickup. So weapon manager dot transform dot find child, and we're going to do weapon name dot game object and we're gonna do weapon found. Oops, weapon found. Set active to true. Okay, so now we're basically finding that weapon and enabling it. Okay, so that should basically be a Glock. And pickup name we'll use later. That's gonna be for when we hover over it and it'll say pick up this, pick up that. For our weapon pickup, so Glock pickup. See, we have now weapon name Glock. It's going to find the Glock and it's going to go back to our weapon manager and find it off of here and enable it. So I guess we could put this on the table as well. Quote unquote table. No, it's not really a table, but I mean it'll do. And I also want to give this a rigid body, so it has physics. And put that like that. And when we hit play, it should be kind of on the table like that. And when we hit E on it, nothing happens because we actually forgot to give it a tag. So weapon pickup right here and apply. And when we go to the Glock, hit E on it. There we go. Okay. We now have a Glock. We actually forgot to destroy it, so we're gonna do destroy game object. So when we pick it up, it's basically gonna get rid of the Glock pickup. So it's gonna look like we basically picked up the Glock. So over here, when we hit E, it says if we just picked up the Glock. Okay. So yeah, I think that's gonna be it for today. Next episode, we're gonna be doing some fun stuff with interact names, and I might actually just duplicate this apple a few times so that there's a little bit more food on the table. And I was also thinking that we could add some shooting physics so that when we shoot stuff, it could, and it has a rigid body, it could actually move and stuff like that. And we could do bullet holes. So there's going to be more things that we're going to get into with the weapon system before we move on to things like the inventory and the building system. So yeah, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, subscribe and have a good one.